Welcome to CAN TV 21 Hotline. Let's talk etiquette. I want to say that again. Let's talk etiquette. It's a pleasure to be here with you again to bring this, I consider exciting, I consider enthusiastic, I consider enriching show to you today. But I want you to call me. Call the foundation. Etiquette Foundation of Illinois at 312-738-1060. So before I go any further, I want to introduce my co-host to you today, the awesome, the extraordinary, the unusual, Madam Georgia Selmon, etiquette maven extraordinary. Welcome to CAN TV. Let's talk etiquette.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. I'm always excited to be on your show, Let's Talk Etiquette. Thank you for having me again.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, when you have a co-host like this lady, you can't ask for anything better. But we are excited about this show today simply because we've gotten such wonderful feedback from last week's show. Yes. Really some great feedback. And some people are joining with us, joining with the Etiquette Foundation to pursue this wonderful subject to make a difference in our young people's lives. But I'm going to turn this introduction over to this great lady, and I'm going to put it on the overhead so that you can see it yourself out there.
The Etiquette Imperative, Summer Employment, Community-Wide Initiative. Save lives, employ our youth.
Yes, employ our youth. And the reason we're going to do another segment to this show is simply because we got such terrific feedback. We got some people that weren't thinking about doing anything like this at all, excited about doing this and wanted to join up with the Etiquette Foundation and make some young people employed and generate some income for those young people. And that's what this show is all about. That's what the Etiquette Foundation is all about, creating opportunity for our young people over the summer months so that they can be gainfully employed and earn some money. So I would like to have my co-host start out by sharing some of her experiences with getting some of our young people employed at the township.
Well, I tell you, I'm so glad we are doing a part 2 of this subject because it's very important. And the reason being, we want everybody to join in with us with this great initiative.
Yes.
We feel the more people involved, the greater and successful we'll have our young people working this summer.
Yes.
Get involved.
Yes.
Get involved. We want to make a difference in the lives of our youth.
Absolutely.
And one of the ways that we could do it is to employ them.
Employ them.
On our way to the show today, we talked about, Mr. Wright and I talked about some creative ways that families as well can get involved in this whole process.
Yes.
What can you do, moms and dads and aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins?
Yes.
What can you do to also influence this whole initiative?
Absolutely.
And we talked about chores around the house.
We did.
Things that you can create in your own home to help employ your own child.
Yes.
Now, what I did, I have a small place. My place is
You've
not
already
huge.
started down this road.
I've started down this road.
Absolutely. Go ahead
I bought
and share
mulch,
that.
and I decided to have my grandson to put mulch all around the garden area of my home.
Yes.
And to even it out, level it out, and rake it in and rake it out, and to give him something else to do. Now, he's employed for the summer, but he can still earn
a few extra dollars.
Absolutely.
And that's an incentive.
And when I mentioned it to him, he was very excited.
Yes.
He was very motivated.
Yes.
And that's what I'm going to have him to do around my house. And I challenge you out there, get involved. Find some
Absolutely.
projects
Yes.
around the house that you can involve your child, your
Yes.
grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, whomever,
Yes.
your neighbor's child, to do
Absolutely.
some things around the house.
Yes. Yes.
And listen, when the sun is shining, you can see dirt everywhere.
You can.
You can, you
So
can
true.
find something for them to do.
Yes.
And that's what we can do as family members.
Right.
And
Within our own home.
Within our own home.
Yes, yes. And, there are neighbors that may have need of your son or your daughter's employment. Maybe someone elderly could use their grass cut.
Yes.
Could use their garbage taken out. Could use a whole host of things. And it's just a matter of asking them to employ your child. And I'm sure if you did that with 2 or 3 of your neighbors, you'd be surprised how willing they are to help you in your program this summer of summer employment for your child. And so try those things out and see if they work. Even if it means you getting in your car and driving to a location, a commercial business, and asking them, are they hiring? You have your son with you, your daughter with you, and I'm out as a parent taking my son around and my daughter around to see what employment opportunities are there for them. And yes, and that's the way it also.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add this. Now, for those youngsters that's under age 16,
Yes.
if they're going to work in the public sector or private sector, you have to get a work permit.
You do.
And a work permit is very simple. It's very uncomplicated. All you have to do is take your child to their local school.
Yes.
And with some identification, and they will issue a work permit for your child under age 16
Yes.
to work.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's a real inclusive process,
Yes.
and I challenge everyone to get on board this
With
summer.
With this summer. And the summer's here.
It's here.
You have plenty of time to go ahead and do that.
Yes.
And I'm glad you brought that point up, Ms. Selmon, because I have taken 3 of my under 16, under 15-year-olds up to their school to get that work permit for them and make sure that they had their Social Security and a letter from their parents stating that they're giving the school permission to give them that work permit. So it's not that difficult to do, but if you know the child is under a certain age, certainly reach out.
Under 16.
Yes.
Under 16. 16,
Help them get that.
he doesn't need one, but any age under 16, they need a work permit. Now, let's not exclude the 11 and 12-year-olds.
That's true. Yes. Yes.
Often there are activities for that age group. You know, a lot of the 11, 12, 10, 9, they're into some of the sports, the baseball. They're doing the baseball. I remember clearly when my grandsons, we had baseball schedules all summer, which kept them very busy.
Yes.
Unfortunately, when they turn 16, 17, 18, we just don't have enough sports activities for them to be involved with.
Right. Yes.
So that's why I'm saying the work experience is an excellent avenue.
Absolutely.
An excellent avenue and training that we can do and provide for our kids during the summer months.
Absolutely.
Don't rule it out.
Yes.
They want to work. They want to do something constructive where they're earning some money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, parents, those I'm talking to are parents out there and have children in their teenage years. Do not forget volunteerism. That's a very good way to get your child some education on how to work and how to be employed and how to be responsible, and a wonderful way to have them learn about giving back and helping people who may have a need. And there are plenty of institutions in the community that have volunteer programs that you can go and register your child there to
Absolutely.
work. And some of them give a little stipends out to the young people, so they can have car fare or they can have a lunch money at the end of the day. But the more important thing is the education you want your child to have about responsibilities, about being committed and reliable, and all those other things they'll learn at the local hospital or some other nursing home that may be in your community.
Libraries. Yes.
That are out here, that they have volunteer programs there, and you can certainly call around and see what's out there and take your child, and so they'll learn how to do something constructively. Plus, you're giving them something to do to fill out that day so you're not idle and not just doing nothing. And that's where the problems usually start for our young people.
Well, my grandmother always said, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. And she's absolutely correct. When you have nothing to think of and have nothing to do,
right,
and nowhere to go,
right,
you can find all kind of little
things
to get into right. that could be not so good.
Not so good.
So,
and to point that out, just recently in an area not too far from where I live, some young children, I think they were 13, 14, in that age range, had a lot of idle time on their hands, and they went over to the school to play some basketball, and somehow they decided, someone among them decided to start a fire in the garbage can.
Oh, boy.
And it ended up being about $15,000 worth of damage to the back of the school.
Oh, my.
And so they had to issue a police warrant on the individuals to do an investigation to find out which ones did it. And they were able to identify who they were, and because of the age of the
What was
child,
the age group?
This young man was 13 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
And unfortunately, they want to bill the parents for the $15,000.
Well,
you see, that's the idle time that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
So parents, please find a way for your child to do something. If they're not being supervised, then please find something for them to do in the community, even if it's just volunteering.
Absolutely.
Yes. We have a call.
Yes, we do.
Caller.
Yes, and good evening to all y'all guys. It was
Is that
so
Steve?
Wonderful. I've been listening.
Oh, that's Steve.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Steve. What are we doing? Go ahead, Steve.
Yes. Listen, what you say did some good things to my ear, where you say people are not responding to y'all guys, what you've been saying for years. That's really good to hear. Now, again, but young kids, helping in the house. When I was a kid, we used to call that allowance, and we get paid for taking the garbage out and everything else. But let me take it a little bit farther. They need to get outside and cut your neighbor's lawn.
Yes.
You get a chance to meet people on the block. You could ask, do you need your curb sweep or the sidewalk or the steps? You get paid. Now these days you see grown people, and you know what kind of people you see walking down the neighborhood, want to make some money, anything like that. Where's the kids? The kids need to get out. And another thing, they will show respect to the neighborhood.
Yes.
People will find out, he ain't such a bad kid. But 9 out of 10, they're stuck in the house, on those machines, on their iPads, and don't want to do anything. But they want us to do everything for them.
Yes.
So it's a great big difference right now from then to now. But people like you and your host, y'all educate, you keep on drilling to good things into children's minds. See, some children don't get the conversation to what you give from in the house. Now, you know I had a stroke.
Yes,
My
Steve.
speech is getting much better, but
Yes.
sometimes I go so excited when I hear y'all talking and saying good things, and makes me can't get the words out of my mouth. But listen, you're knocking the nail right on the head. Please, people, get your kids out.
Yes.
Get $1 for cutting somebody's grass, sweeping. Hey, Mr. Wright, can I go to the store for you? Anything.
That's
Can
right.
I take the garbage out?
Yes.
People like that.
Yes.
That's what makes the block and the neighborhood safe. So
Yes.
listen, I'm sorry for staying on the phone so long.
No, that's fine, Steve. Just glad to hear you.
I like to get out there so I hear your response.
Yes.
Listen, I'm still going to the Shirley Ryan Lab downtown. Good people. I mean, I recommend that to anyone. So, listen, I will always be with y'all guys. If I don't call, don't think I'm not listening.
Okay,
Listen,
Steve.
y'all have a great day and a safe one.
Wonderful.
And let me get the response.
Wonderful.
Thank
for taking the
you.
call.
Thank you, Steve.
Sure.
Glad to hear you. And leave your number with my producer. Please leave that number, okay? So I can reach out to you. But Steve has been a loyal supporter. I mean, really, over the last 18 years, Steve has been the most loyal supporter, the most positive.
Yes.
He has something to contribute that's positive. And you can't really say...
He was right on.
He's
He
right
was
on.
right on.
Right on with allowances. You talked about that earlier.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, I think if the entire community gets involved,
Yes.
neighbors and the people that live across the street,
Yes.
if everyone gets involved, then we could stop complaining
Yes.
about our kids not doing this and our
Not doing-
kids not doing that and
Right.
our kids are the way. We could curtail a lot of that conversation
Yes.
if we're all involved in the lives of our children, providing something meaningful,
Yes.
something that's structured, where they can earn some money.
Absolutely.
I challenge people to do it. I
Absolutely.
really do. I worked in social services for over 40 years. And I ran a summer program, a year-round program, but specifically the summer program. And kids got involved. Some of the worst
Yes.
kids that was troublemakers in the schools, that had the worst reputation, I employed those kids, and I'm telling you, they worked out perfectly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They did an outstanding job.
Yes.
They earned money,
Yes.
and that turned their lives around.
Yes. And I can attest to what Madam Selmon is saying, because one of our programs, one of your employees that you employed, 10, 12 years later, it came to one of our classes and recognized you and was so excited. I don't know if you remember that young man.
Absolutely.
He's married with a wife, I think one or
Yes.
two children.
Yes.
And he wasn't looking to have that encounter, but when he saw you, his eyes lit up and he was so happy to see you. So I see that with the young people that Madam Selmon has worked with in the past, and that's such gratification.
It is.
And having that happen. I've
really
seen this
is.
2 or 3 times, not just this one time. I've seen them actually start crying.
When you make a
You know,
difference.
when they see you and they
Well, thank you.
contribute to you, let you know what you've done for
Absolutely.
them. Those testimonies. I think I've even recorded one of the testimonies with my phone of a lady that's very successful now.
Yes, absolutely. But you know, it's what we do collectively as community leaders. You know, as
Yes.
community leaders, we do that. We go over and beyond what the job calls for.
Absolutely.
We do what we have to do to make a difference in the lives of our young people. And I challenge everyone to get on that
Absolutely.
bandwagon.
Yes.
Let's stop talking about what our kids are not doing,
Right.
what our kids are doing that's wrong. Let's make some things right for them. And making some things right for them is being creative, finding something for them to do, not just the public sector, the private sector, the
Right.
community-based
Right.
agencies,
Right.
all of these agencies that we asked last week to get
Right.
involved.
And we've had a few callers.
We did.
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
We want parents
Parents.
to get involved.
That's what this show is really focused on.
That's right.
Getting
We want the
parents involved.
aunts, the uncles,
Right.
the grandmothers,
Right.
relatives.
Yes.
Find something, some type of ongoing chore
Yes.
for the duration of the summer for
Yes.
your child to do, and pay him.
Bam.
Give him a stipend for doing that.
Absolutely. It's not, I mean, what do? You go and buy a case of beer, just get a 6-pack as opposed to a 12-pack, and take the $4 difference and give it to your grandson, for him to do something that he can do to serve the community, serve you, or whomever. But I want to mention this one call I received, Madam Selmon, that I don't think I mentioned to you. I got a call from a gentleman that said he saw the show, and he said he's a regular viewer, but he's never called the show. Okay, because we assume that a lot of people watching that don't call us.
Yes.
And we have another caller here.
Let's get that call.
Get the call.
Yes.
Caller.
Hey, Mr. Wright, another thing. I heard you earlier. Let's get the parents involved. 2 things.
Yes.
Form a block club. Get everybody in to participate. Have a meeting first. Let's hear suggestions that make the neighborhood better. And all the time, you're going to be talking to them, and they're going to eventually relate it back to their kids and other people. So, y'all, like you say, it's the summer now. Throw some hamburgers and pork chops, something on the grill.
Right.
Like everybody in the neighborhood bring something, a pop of bread or anything, and
Yes.
that's how you
Get
get
away from that.
the adults
Yes.
involved.
Excellent
in
idea.
it. So it's just an idea. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But the most important thing is put something in their head, and maybe you might think about it. Okay, let me get out there again.
That's fine, Steve. Excellent suggestion. Excellent suggestion. And in fact, the caller that I received says that he does not have a block party. Just where you were going with it.
Yes.
And he said to me that he printed up some flyers and passed them out throughout the neighborhood where they can meet, and those people in the community, those people he didn't even know, some of them, he wanted them to come to his house in the backyard barbecue. He was inviting them for that reason, so he's feeding them. And so that they can come together as a community and come up with ways to beautify the community, put our young people to work doing some things, and we'll do some type of fundraiser, he said, and pay these young people and look out in the community, in the commercial sector, to help employ these young people. So that's the kind of reaction we've gotten from our show that motivated this individual to actually get up and do something to make a difference in his community, and especially with the employment situation that's out there. Because he says he sees these kids standing out on the corner, hanging out on the corner, talking and making noise and up doing things that may not look as productive as they could be because they're idle. They don't have any time. So I told him if he needed me and needed the Etiquette Foundation, don't hesitate. I'll come to your barbecue and I'll contribute $50 or whatever to help your fundraiser off to get some money so that you as a community can begin to do something, give something for our young people, and that's block to do. And so I failed to mention that to you, but
Yeah.
that's what this whole show is about in this particular initiative, the Summer Job Program Initiative, promoted and sponsored by the Etiquette Foundation. Let's put that back up, that overhead back up real quick so that we can look at that again, that last line at the bottom.
Our youth are not being prepared to be employable. Our youth are not being prepared to be employable. And the only way that we're going to help them become prepared to become employable is that we all get involved.
Yes.
And let's stop thinking that it's one organization's responsibility, another organization's responsibility, this organization, that organization. It's all of us.
Yes.
We are responsible for our own children.
Yes.
We are responsible.
Absolutely.
I am responsible for my grandsons.
Yes.
I'm not leaving the school to have to do it all.
No.
We have a responsibility to make a difference in our children's lives.
Absolutely.
In all aspects, educationally, employable, It's our responsibility.
Yes.
It starts
absolutely.
at home.
It does.
I've been saying that since I've been on your show.
Starts at home.
It starts at
you,
home.
you do own that phrase. And it's
Yes.
a great phrase. It all starts at home, and I credit you for contributing that to this show and to our audience, so they'll know that it is an important reality and a philosophy.
That's right.
Starts
Absolutely.
at home.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's one of the things that we really want to do is to motivate our parents for this show so that they can really think about their children or grandchildren and how they can really become more involved in their lives in a constructive way. If they're sitting around playing video games all day, then think of something else to get them off the video games so that they can do something. Even if it's learning how to work around the house, how to mop, how maybe paint. You may need your bathroom painted, or you may need something done in that area. Give them the opportunity to learn. YouTube is an excellent way to teach. I mean,
Yes, it really is.
whatever it is, household or otherwise, you can Google YouTube and they'll tell you exactly how to paint strip it off and do all the other things you need to do to make your bathroom look like it's professionally painted.
Yes.
And then you can give that young grandson or son of yours the opportunity to make the 20 or 30 bucks that you decide to contribute to that effort. And that's a great way to teach them work ethics and how to do things with their hands. And so we're inviting this entire community.
Yes.
This is the whole metropolitan area of Chicago to get involved, take this initiative seriously, and do the best you can to help our young people because they need our help. There's no doubt about that. So it looks as though we're about to close out the show, so let me put up our information and so that those who would like to contact us will be able to do that, and we will be able to build out a greater community in this initiative for the summer of 2019. Call us at 312-473-2942, or you can email us at info@efoi.org. So please give us a call, send us an email. We'll be happy to respond to that email or that phone call. But if you don't reach us, leave us a message so that we can get back to you. I'm up sometimes 7, 8, or 9 o'clock in the evening returning calls to those callers. So we will return your call. You definitely send us an email. We'll do that for you. If you need any curriculum, we have tons of curriculum on every discipline you can imagine. Work ethics, just basic manners that the young person may need to take. You can teach them. You can have our course to teach to your young people, manners and morals. And they could be 4 or 5 years of age, and that's a great time to start down that road, parents, grandparents, and give them an education how to be civilized. And so with that said, I would like to turn the closing of the show over to this master here, Madam Georgia Selmon, Etiquette Maven Extraordinary.
Well, it's been a great show, great topic. I thoroughly enjoy talking about anything that's pertaining to etiquette education. Tune in next time. Until next time, enjoy and employ your son, daughter, grandkids. Let's do this, and we can do it effectively together.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Great. Good evening.
Good evening.